my definition of joy is kind of morphing, and joy serves me differently depending on what my needs are at that moment. So right now, joy is in quiet, joy is in peace. That's where I'm at right now with experiencing joy.
Welcome to Impostrix Podcast Season 4. My name is Whitney and I am your host. Thanks for joining us for this episode. I am excited to jump into it. Impostrix Podcast validates professionals of color navigating imposter experiences and racial toxicity within their careers. And this season, we are focusing exclusively on pouring into Black women. How can we take care of the Black women in our lives? If we are a Black woman, how can we pour into ourselves? How can we receive the pour from others? So this episode is going to be about that and all the episodes within this season. So sit back, get your listening ears on. Let's get into it. Hey, y'all, and welcome back to Impostrix Podcast. This is Season 4. I know you know, but just in case this is your first time listening, Season 4, we are focusing on pouring into Black women. So we've been speaking to Black women from all over who are talking about how they make sure that they're pouring into themselves and receiving the pour, especially during this season that I feel like is a collective, like, Black girl opt-out. Like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I care about myself, my family, and protecting my energy. And so that is what I'm going to spend time doing. And so today, we are talking about joy. And I like this. I like this a lot because honestly, joy is not something that I think a whole lot about. And so I'm looking to get into this conversation with our guest today, Cass. When I first kind of started looking at her website and figuring out, like, who is this person, I immediately knew. I was like, this is fun. Like, this is levity. This is like a breath of fresh air, not so serious. And I need this in my life. So I'm looking forward to this conversation. Cass, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Please do me a favor and introduce yourself, sharing your identities so that we can know what perspectives you're joining this conversation with.
Okay, I have so many different identities, I feel like, but right now, currently, I am a hardworking entrepreneur who is trying to keep it all together through the seasons and dedicated to making it work and having fun along the way. It's like we're going on this road trip. Are we going to pack snacks in a playlist, or are we going to be bored the whole way? So it's just, I want to create this vibe for my life. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, thank you. And you spend your time between Canada and the US.
Because legally I can't be in the US any longer than 6 months at a time until I get a visa, which means either getting a job or a husband, or bringing my business over there. But for that, you need a lot of capital. So I'm very clear that I want to build my business in the United States, but I don't feel like letting go of my citizenship, especially given everything that's going on there these days. Like, I want to be able to, like, dip in and out as I please and as it works for me. And, like, why not?
And I think that's good because a lot of us are we go in the opposite direction that you're trying to come. So what is your business? Tell us about your business.
Okay, so I have two businesses, and both of them have the exact same structure. One is for children, one is for adults. It is commerce, so I've got, like, merchandise. So that's probably where you see the jokes and the things that make you laugh. Everything from stickers to greeting cards, tote bags, bookmarks, all of that stuff. Content. So I've got a podcast. I do storytelling. I write short stories, blog posts. And then we have community. So community looks like different events, different workshops that I facilitate, as well as kids event entertainment. So yeah, one is called Oh So Dope. That's the one for adults. And the other one is called All the Craze Entertainment. And that is the one for children.
Awesome. You got a lot. You got a lot going on.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so today we're talking about joy. And I think this is a great topic for you and I specifically to be talking about. Because, like you said, like, we going on a road trip, what we gonna do? Like,
What are we going to do?
we just gonna sit here and be bored, or we gonna do something fun? And I knew that was, like, your personality, and I am not. I'm the one, I go on a road trip and like don't even think about the other things. Like if I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking about something, it now that I have kids, it's, how do I keep them occupied? I'll always bring a snack now. I will come prepared with some food. But at this point, I don't even make playlists. I remember when like we used to be making, the burned CDs
Mm-hmm.
basically for any occasion to go anywhere. We would make a
Mm-hmm.
CD for it. And I don't even put together a Spotify playlist these days. Um, and so let's talk about it. What I want to know from you is what how do you define joy, first of all? Like, what are we even talking about when we're talking about joy?
Okay, so for me, I define joy as anything that makes me smile, anything that makes me feel alive, that brings me calmness. And I think for everyone, the definition of joy is different. And even as I change through the seasons, like it can be as often as monthly, my definition of joy is kind of morphing, and joy serves me differently depending on what my needs are at that moment. So right now, joy is in quiet, joy is in peace. That's where
Mm,
I'm at right now with experiencing joy.
interesting. When I think about joy, I think I'm thinking about like big. That's the first thing that comes to mind is like big happiness
Hmm.
or like big contentment. Like it's more than just my regular, oh yeah, today's a good day. And so like you said, smiling, and I think for me like laughing. Yeah, if I'm laughing, if I'm like laughing so hard I'm about to pee, like
Hmm.
that feels like a joyful moment. Or if I'm laughing so hard that I'm gonna cry, that feels like a joyful moment. But it also feels like the awe I think that I get when I step back and observe amazingness around me. Whether that's
Hmm.
like I can find that in nature in my backyard and just like taking a second to breathe and like realize that there are trees that are as older than this state, like older than living people.
Hmm.
And that like I've got a community that brings me awe and joy thinking about that. But it's something that I just don't spend a lot of time
Yeah.
putting the word to the feeling,
Yeah.
um, and identifying. And so why is that important? Like, I'm surprised
Hmm.
whenever somebody comes to me wanting to talk about joy, because I'm like, "Why how did you even why is it important for you to have this word in your vocabulary?" So let's pause a minute and just get real. You do everything for everybody. But have you taken a moment to care for future you? Getting your affairs in order isn't just about wills or trusts. It's about peace of mind for you and love for those that you leave behind. Ideally, we should all have an estate plan. And if you're in Georgia, Wills for the People can help you out. But if you're not ready yet to create your will or trust, there's something that you can do that will go a long way in helping the future you. And that is to get organized. The I Plan for This Life Organizer for when it's needed is a workbook designed to help you organize your life with clarity and ease, making it so that if someone needs to care for you or for your affairs because you're not able to, they have all of the information that they need. No stress, no confusion, just a record made by you, about you. Visit willsforthepeoplega.com to get your copy, because you deserve to be prepared and to have your loved ones prepared. Again, that's willsforthepeoplega.com and click on the workbook tab. Back to the show.
Great question. Okay, so I'm gonna take it back a second. Let's just move off the analogy for this entire episode of this road trip, okay? So we're going on a road trip. So our destination is joy. We're going to the water park, right? So we're spending our time driving in traffic and, annoyed and miserable and uncomfortable to get to joy to experience it, only to then let it go. A lot of us have this, especially when we're leading up to like big vacations. You know, we're
Mm.
shopping online, we're buying things that make us feel most like ourselves. We go away, like we wake up so early in the morning without care because we're going to the airport. We're like, yeah, I'm waking up early, going to the airport. We're ready for this vacation. You live in this week of bliss and you're like, oh my gosh, this is life, only to come home and like have that instant like downfall,
Mm.
right? So I think it's more so like the sustainability of it, because a lot of people do think about joy as grandiose, as big, as a trip, as something to look forward to. And of course, we still need that. We still need that, absolutely. But on the journey to joy, we want to experience a little bit of it, right? You know, we don't want to deprive ourselves too much. And so for your question, asking me like what made me want to incorporate joy more regularly in my life, I think it was I had started journaling maybe like 2 years ago because I wasn't feeling happy. I just didn't know what the problem was. And I used to be that person who thinks, oh, journaling, like I don't want anyone to find it. Like this is so lame. So I decided to take my type A self and audit every day, right? I'm like, this is not journaling. I'm just auditing my day, right? So I would write down everything that was going on in the day and then how I was feeling. And then I started reading it back and seeing the patterns. And I was like, okay, well, what if I eliminated this? Because the pattern I'm seeing with this that's making me feel not so good, I'm going to just kind of start adjusting, right? So I just realized I wasn't happy. And then I started finding joy, not only finding joy, because a lot of us look for joy, but like creating it. And those are two very different things. And I think it's once you start thinking about the differences between the two, they're related for sure. Then you could have that aha moment of like, okay, I can't just wait for joy to come to me. I can't just wait to stumble upon joy. How can I create it for myself? How can I self-sustain in that? And every day is not going to be good. I am stressy. I am depressy some days. Like right now, the past couple of weeks, girl, I've been like, ah. But anything I can do, even like packing my orders for my greeting cards, like it's been a lot.
Mm.
I put on that playlist. I get myself some snacks, you know. I put
Mm-hmm.
on my gossip shows on YouTube. I watch Wags on Netflix. It's, you know, how can I make this more enjoyable?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now that I've done my spiel all about my joy, I just going to turn it back on you. When is the last time you experienced joy and what did that feel like?
Mm. The last time I experienced joy, um, I think it was around like around my children. No, the dog. We just got a dog. Um, it was around family actually. Okay, so we just got a dog. And yesterday it was 70 degrees. It hasn't been 70 degrees in like a couple months because it's winter. And I picked the boys up on time for the first time in a long time. So we were able to come home and they ate dinner. And then we got to play outside with the dog. It was still light out. Um, and it was just like a nice 15 minutes of everybody outside enjoying the warmer weather, enjoying this new puppy that we have, the boys not arguing. And it felt like one of those moments where you're like standing outside of yourself and looking in and seeing that like this very simple 15 minutes of time is like what it's all for, like what
Yeah.
everything is for.
Yeah.
And I noticed that it felt easy and it felt free.
Mhm. Those are good words. Those are good words. Those are good
Yes.
feelings. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be the big thing. It doesn't always have to be expensive. It can be a lot. Like there's so many small things, small ways that you can add just glimpses and pieces of joy to your life every day, especially alongside things that you hate doing, like hate writing emails. Okay, get yourself something to pass the time easier. You know, if you hate going on walks, schedule a phone call with your friend who you need to catch up with. Make it enjoyable, you know?
Yeah, those are I'm thinking to myself around like kind of basically breaking up the monotony. Um,
Exactly.
Yes, that's what I'm hearing from you, and there's a lot of that in my life,
Mhm.
starting with laundry, that, I but it doesn't occur to me to, like, do other things. Like, I actually like music. I like
Yeah.
the rhythm of music. I don't really
Mhm.
care about words. I'm
Mhm.
not a words person, I don't listen to the words. Um, you ask me what the lyrics are about, I don't know,
Yeah.
but I love how music makes me feel. And so I like, bopping around. It's just that
Mhm.
I never do.
Do you have
Um,
Spotify?
mhm.
Okay. Um, I'm not sure if it will be like this on everyone's account, but if I type in happy, it has a dedicated playlist based on me and my listening pleasures that Spotify
Oh.
puts together. And when I tell you that list is on point, songs that I've never heard of by artists that are so small, but they make me feel so good. So it
Mhm.
literally says happy mix by Spotify for Oh So Dope. And
Mm.
that's the way I like to start my day.
Mhm. I got happy hits made for you.
You got it. See? Yeah.
Yep. I
So
got
it knows
feel
what you like.
good happy mix, good
Mhm.
mood happy mix. Okay.
Yes.
Energetic happy mix.
And it's based
Nice.
on what you like, right? It should be. Or it's based on what Spotify thinks you're gonna like.
Yeah.
Spotify knows me better than I know
Yeah, I mean, I
myself
don't know, like
sometimes.
you said, so some of these people I know, Rihanna, no,
Mhm.
they know that I like some Rihanna.
They do.
Adele,
Mhm.
yeah, Lizzo, so
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, um, okay, that's cool. That's cool, that's a good tip.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you. I'm here for them.
I'm gonna add that to my life, I think, just
Mhm.
stuff like that I mean, you're right, it doesn't have to be a big thing, like, I could relate to this idea of we find joy when we are going on or gearing up for a big vacation.
Mhm.
And the joy, like, leaves a day or 2 before we leave the vacation,
Yeah.
because 'cause I'm already it's like Sunday scaries, I just heard
You're
somebody say.
stressing. Yeah.
Right, right, and so, I like this idea of, like, figuring out how to weave it in instead of
Mhm.
waiting for these big manicured moments.
Yeah, because they just go away. They just go away.
Mhm,
They don't sustain anything in you. So, how you have 2 boys. 2 boys?
mhm.
How has joy changed for you since becoming a mom? Because I look at moms and I understand, like, I'm not a parent and, like, I am very much free. So I understand my privilege in being able to, like, do what I want on a whim for the most part. But, like, you have to manage kids. Like, even when I heard you talk about the road trip, you make sure your kids are good. They're experiencing joy. They're not going to be bored. But then what about you? So it's just that afterthought. So, yeah, how
Yeah,
has your experience of joy changed or, like, altered since becoming a mom? And then how do you manage to find time to create these things and weave them into your lives, like, realistically?
right, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
shoot, I don't know.
You
So,
don't know?
like, joy for me, I mean, and finding these moments, I mean, one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about and talking a lot about is returning to self, um,
Mhm.
post being a mother,
Mhm.
and not like, still acknowledging though that, like, the self that I'm returning to is not the same self as the self of motherhood in any
Exactly.
way. For one, I am 7 years older and basically knocking on middle-aged, like,
Mhm.
maybe knocking on menopause, I don't know, like, my body is different, everything is different, and so to some respect, like, I think about what are the hobbies, what are the things that I enjoyed doing before I had children,
Mhm.
but I can't even rely on that because my body can't do some of those things
Right.
anymore, or maybe I'm just not interested in those things anymore because my interests have shifted, and so right now, I honestly find, joy in, quiet moments, just like you said. Um, I find, I think I look a lot more now for comfort than I do for joy,
Hmm.
um, because maybe comfort feels more maybe easier and, like, less work perhaps, and maybe more obtainable,
Yeah.
and what I mean by that is, like, I can snuggle up on a couch and like I'm not necessarily, I wouldn't call it joyful, but I would
Mhm.
call it settled in and
Yeah.
comfortable and like, okay, right now I'm in my body. I am present and this feels good.
Mhm.
Um, I have a blanket that I've been talking a lot about on this podcast this season for some reason, but it's because I realized this blanket makes me feel safe. It's this fuzzy blanket and it's comfy and I get to sit on it, and oftentimes it's by myself, but sometimes it's with kids and just like be. So I find myself seeking quiet, solitude, and, like, comfort
Mhm.
more than I find myself seeking joy or happiness even. Um, and it's one thing that I wanna get back to. Like, I wanna get
Yeah.
back to the laughter, the silliness,
Yeah.
not taking myself so seriously. And I shouldn't say back to because I've never been that way. I've always
Mhm.
taken myself too
Me
seriously.
too. Yeah.
So that's the one thing. The second thing you said about
How do you
how do I
manage
find
yeah, how do
time?
you find it? Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't.
You
I
don't.
just,
Y
it's only in these last few months as I have focused on pouring into self that I've been forced to then focus on my actual self.
Mhm.
Um, Much of my day is spent worried about other people.
Mhm.
And that is as a caregiver, but it's also as a sister. It's also as a wife. It's also as a business owner and entrepreneur and somebody that pays bills.
Mhm.
Like it's, I don't spend a lot of the day thinking about me. And
Right.
so as I have been on this journey, I have taken a lot of time to think more about me and what makes me feel good, feel joy, feel happy right now. And so, for example, I've been sitting in this chair for like 4 hours, got up because we had a break. I know it's ridiculous.
Mhm.
Got up because I had a break before this recording, just went outside, tried to play fetch with Nala, the dog. She wasn't having it, but I was outside and just getting fresh air was something that 3 months ago I wouldn't have done.
Mhm.
I would have found something to do in the little 20 minutes that I had to be
Right.
productive.
Yeah, and that's the thing about life, the formula changes, right? Like,
Mhm.
as you were saying, like, you wanna get back to the hobbies that you used to love 7 years ago, but, like, maybe they don't fit anymore, right? Maybe the formula needs to be rewritten, and that's why it's so important to check in with yourself and do that reflection and do that, like, searching for, "What do I like?" There are so many new things that there's so many things we know, so many things we know that we don't know, and then there's this, like, subset of things that we don't know, and, like, sometimes there's magic in there, right? So it's just a matter of rewriting, figuring out your new route, your new path to where you're going, and always just checking in with yourself.
Yeah, well, and I wanted to ask you because I think, yes, I have children and they take up a lot of time, but I also know as somebody that is a chronic workaholic
Hmm.
and busy person that does not sit down,
Yep.
that I can just by myself without all these other people around me, not take time to think about myself or caring or pouring in or any of
Hmm.
that. So I'm wondering for you, how do you manage to weave all of that in? You talked about music
Hmm.
and using music to make things better,
Yeah.
even when it sucks. What else do
Yeah.
you do?
Okay, so it's all about mindset, I would say, to begin with. So being okay, there are going to be days where it's back to back to back to back, and you might not have time to sit down and watch that TV show, to go out and get some sun, and just knowing and preparing yourself for that and being like, it's okay. Um, that's number one. I would say just being forgiving and being kind to yourself. When you get on yourself about it, like, man, I knew I shouldn't have made my calendar available. Man, I know better than this. Okay, cool. You know better. It's already there. Make decisions better moving forward from here. Another thing, just the same way, like, you were communicative with me leading up to this recording. You sent me the link in advance. We scheduled a little quick call to begin with, to just touch base with each other. The same way you schedule things in your calendar for your clients and for your kids' soccer practice, schedule appointments in for yourself. I think that's maybe the number one way that I find time to create joy for myself, is scheduling, putting it in my phone. Like, it's in there. I know I'm not going to write over it. And if someone says, "Hey, are you available this day at 4?" I check in my phone. And if I see that there's a dedication to myself there, oh no, I already have something, It just helps you stand on business, if you put it in your phone, put it in your calendar.
Yeah, so you just said something that I think I need to do. So,
Mhm,
and it's not putting it in the count. I mean, I need to do that because I don't. So I need to do
mhm.
that. But what do you call it? Will you say like drink tea or, whatever it is that you do, listen to
Yeah.
music or whatever the joy thing is? Or do you say dedication to self?
Okay, it depends on the day. And this is like I it depends on the day. Some days I'm time blocking my entire day, so I am as specific as tea and dessert or go for a walk. And some days I'm just blocking out 4 hours of nothing. And that's for me
Mm,
to decide when I get there, but it's my
mm,
time, right? So in my calendar, maybe sometimes I'll just put my name on it. Just put my name on
mm.
it, or I'll put relax on it. Whatever I feel like in the moment,
Yeah.
but as long as it's portioned off, then I will stand on it. You know?
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
sometimes if you have every thought, every mind to be like, "Okay, on Saturday, I'm gonna take the day to myself." And then suddenly someone asks you for something. And you're like, "Okay, fine. I'll prolong it. I'll push it off." But that reminder in your calendar, that, like, old version of yourself, or that older version of the past version of yourself, you have to stay dedicated to that. Like, you owe them. You owe you.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and I think what I'm realizing in this conversation is that I'm not like you, okay? If
Okay.
I put just go get my nails done or something on my calendar, but something else comes up, I will happily just swipe that on, like,
No.
take off my but I think it's the affirmation of, like,
Mhm,
dedication dedicated to myself or, um I don't know, self-love wouldn't do it because I put that before and it's gone, but something like the language I think that I use will help me identify that this is the time that I was talking about yesterday when I was talking to Cass about joy and pouring into myself.
mhm.
Um, and I will protect it because right now
Yeah.
I barely protect doctor's appointments. If something better comes along, I barely protect doctor's appointments.
No. That's not good. But it's an area to work on. It's an area of improvement, and you know that,
Mhm.
and, like, that's step 1. Because some people don't even wanna fix it or change it or figure out a way, but, like, you seem to be like, "Okay, I this is out of whack a little bit. Let me try and reprogram it." So when you're putting joy into your calendar moving forward, how do you think, like, what kinds of words do you think are going to work best for you? Is it that gonna be that specific, like, activity here? And another thing, I'm just gonna, like, step on it real quick, is when you're making your time to get your nails done, make an appointment, because then, like, you owe it to
Mm,
them. You can't cancel the appointment, like, they have that time for you. So,
mhm,
I
mhm.
recommend that. Okay, so talk to me about this calendar and
Mm.
marking in your time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I like the word dedication because that feels like a
Mm,
commitment.
yes.
And so I will probably use that language of,
Yeah.
like, dedication to self,
Yeah.
because that is something that I it sounds more important for me. It sounds more
Exactly.
important than just, like, I don't know, rest, sleep
Yeah.
in, you
Mhm.
know? Um, so I see myself doing that. I also, in the past, I've used stuff like don't plan anything or do nothing.
Mhm.
But when I look at it leading up to that day, I'm like, I don't need that. I thought I was gonna need a break. I don't need that break. Like, and
Mm.
that's my mindset is I'm doing that because I thought I would need a break, not
Mhm.
because I wanted to like affirmatively do something fun, good, I don't know, happy,
Yeah.
relaxing. Like, it's always, I'm gonna be dying by that point. So let me go ahead and give myself some space, which is
No, you
fine. Like
waited
that's
too long. Yeah.
right,
Sorry.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this like affirmative, or maybe even just like the perspective shift in my
Mhm.
mind from the break because I had a hard week and I'm gonna be dying to this is just a part of my week.
Yeah.
This is the same thing as showing up for the meetings that I have and the family commitments that I have. Like, this just is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think as you look at your calendar too, there's naturally for all of us, there's gonna be things in there that, like, we hate doing, but, like, need to be done. Okay, there's gonna be things in there that, like, we can adjust them to make them more fun, and then there's gonna be those moments of, like, "Okay, yeah, this is my me time." But is there anything currently that's on your calendar that you see consistently that you're like, "This needs to go. This brings me so much just heartache, and, like, I just don't like doing that." Is there anything in your life that you feel that way about?
I'm looking at my calendar.
Okay.
And I don't think so.
Okay.
Um, I don't think so.
You're
Uh,
a full-time entrepreneur, yeah?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Sorry, keep going.
But I don't put like the stuff that I don't like. I will put quiet work time instead of like all the stuff that I hate that I have to do on it, like bookkeeping or like
Mm,
emailing. Like I'm not granular when it comes to that. I'm just
mhm.
like, this is gonna be quiet work time. And that makes me feel peaceful. That makes me feel like
Okay.
I get a focused time. So yeah, mm-mm.
Yeah. I think for those listening, if there's something on your calendar that's consistently there, that brings you everything except for peace, then look at ways that you can minimize that or get rid of it. And that's why I asked you if you're an entrepreneur because when I worked a corporate job and it took up a lot of my week, it's 40 hours a week and I hated every minute of it. And I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror because I'm like, who am I? Like, you're so out of alignment. What you think and what you say and how you feel is so out of alignment with what you do every single day. And the
Mhm.
moment I left my job, which was the hardest thing to do ever. So I'm not telling people to quit their jobs, don't quit your job, but maybe look at like a change when we're talking about those bigger things, those huge parts of your life that you don't feel peace with. And it's okay to outgrow them, right?
Mm.
Maybe like we're like, I'm going to be a teacher. And then you're 10 years in, 12 years in, you're like, I don't know. That is okay. That is normal, actually. Change it. Change it now. Do it. Try something
Yeah,
new.
and I think too when that happens, like it's appropriate and fine to have a grieving period. Um, because maybe that is something that we need to grieve. Maybe that's something that we're holding on to, but it doesn't serve us.
Hmm.
And that's what I found with my work situation was I had a dream job, loved the dream job until suddenly I didn't love the dream job. And then I was upset that I didn't love this dream job.
Hmm.
And when I left, I had to grieve the fact that the dream job wasn't actually a dream for me, like I thought
Hmm.
it would be. I really wanted to do the work, but when I was in it, um, it didn't work for me. It didn't work for me.
Yeah, it didn't last
Um,
forever.
Right, right, and so doing that work though of just the acknowledgement, and the moving past it and honoring to the relief and freedom that
Hmm.
I felt, like, similar to you, like, when I walked out, I felt high. Like, I felt like nobody could touch me. I was so good, had felt so good leaving that job, um, and, like, being with that moment and being, celebrating that moment.
Yeah. How long did it take for the high to, I don't want to say die down, but to like shift back and for you to feel a little bit more grounded?
Hmm, recently. It's been more than a year.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, like, I've been carried because
Ooh.
what it allowed me to do was explore these different things that I had been doing as a side hustle, or,
Mhm.
it gave me I noticed that I was much more creative
Yes.
after, leaving that job.
Yeah.
Um, Initially, there wasn't a financial strain because, we had some money saved up and, stuff like that. I was making money with the side hustles.
Mhm.
Um, and only recently have I felt like maybe in the last 4 or 5 months, um, where I'm, like, stabilizing in terms of, "Okay, this is what I'm doing." Like,
Mhm.
this is the new path, Wills for the People is my job,
Right.
and I'm happy with that being my job, and I'm gonna commit to growing that, and, the podcast is great, and we're gonna do this season and then see what happens. But up until, maybe 4 I would say maybe 4 months ago, it was kind of like I'm free and I'm still
Mhm.
experimenting with all of these
Yeah.
things. I don't know if I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna try it and see what happens.
Yeah, that's wonderful. It's great to have that mentality. I think there are so many people when their life shifts or their foundation is torn down, like, it's hard to, like, catch your grounding after.
Yeah.
To some people, it's scary when there's nothing, and it's like, "What am I gonna build?" But to other people, it's exciting. It's like, "What am I gonna build? Like, I have nothing right now. Like, I have these bits and pieces, and, like, how am I gonna create this foundation to best match, like, who I am right now inside? Like, how am I gonna build myself back up?" So I think that's so important is how you look at your issues, how you look at your problems, how you look at your life. It's everything is in perspective, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And for me, like there was still fullness to my life, whether or not I had that job, because there was
Mhm.
so many other because that's the person that I am.
Ooh,
Like,
yeah,
because I don't sit down,
yeah.
my life is still too full. I have to cut stuff out of my life right now. I cannot do all the things that I'm doing because the overwhelm takes away from my joy.
Yes. You're
So,
speaking my
like,
language. Yeah.
right, so
Mhm.
it's like the opposite problem of, like,
Mhm.
"No, I'm good." Like, I can go and be creative, but it is noticing that there is a capacity at which I can't
Yes,
go past and still
absolutely.
operate at my best, and maybe when I was younger, I could. I don't even know, but all I know is that right now I can't, and
Mhm.
so in order to protect the good, the joy, the ease, the freedom, the pride even,
Yeah.
I have to cut out some stuff. I gotta cut out some stuff.
You know what's so funny? Okay, I feel like this is the third time I'm mentioning this. The past few weeks of my life have been overwhelmed. If there's one word to describe it, it's been overwhelmed. You know, I run these two businesses and they do two similar things but two very different things, and both of them are starting to grow, and I can feel it, and I can see it, and I just can't handle it, right? So it's like I'm staying up late and I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not going to the gym. I look in the mirror and, like, do you get stress face? Do you ever, like, look in the mirror and be like, "Man, you look rough." Like, you
Mm,
yeah. I've been getting stress face, and I'm like, "This is not sustainable. This is not okay," but, like, this is what I've been asking the universe for is, like, success.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
just a matter of, like, managing it, and, a couple of days ago, I was like, "Man, how am I gonna go on this podcast and talk about joy? I haven't experienced joy in the past few weeks. Like, am I a fake?" But I'm so glad that we're having this conversation because, like, everything that we're talking about is just like, okay, it's okay if you don't experience it right away,
Right.
but it's a matter of figuring out how can I create space. It's not going to land on your lap, just like, you know, those memes of, like, you sitting at home and your dream man knocks it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to, you
Mm-mm.
have to create space and you have to be active about it. So, let's make a pact with each other. What are you going to be letting go of in the next few weeks? And then I'm going to think of, well, something that I'm going to be letting go of or putting on the back burner, whatever.
Good lord, in the next few
Mhm.
weeks? Let
Do
me
you
look at
feel
my
like
calendar again.
do you feel like you already got rid of the overwhelm? The thing that was
Um,
overwhelming you and minimized?
yes, so
Okay.
okay, yes. So what I'll say is I've been on an ongoing process of tightening up my calendar in terms of how available I'm making myself to other people, and that is
Mhm.
going to continue to shrink over these next few weeks as
Yes.
I am finishing up recordings, for example, for season 4. As I am finalizing my workflow for the quarter,
Mhm.
for Wills for the People. So there's just stuff like part of my overwhelm similar to you, It is everything is growing, and that is a good thing, but it also means that I'm doing everything and it feels
Yeah.
overwhelming, but I have systems. I'm like, there are systems currently in place.
Right.
There are also systems that are changing, and because they are changing, things feel a little bit out of sorts, and those will settle in these next couple of weeks. And so, I am looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to, now my calendar actually is more restricted, so
Mhm.
that the weeks, the upcoming weeks aren't going to be as crazy as the last few weeks because my what you can book in my
Yeah.
calendar looks very different.
Yeah, yeah. I noticed.
What
Yeah.
about you?
Okay, 'cause
what
but
what
I
about
respect
you?
it and I get it. Okay, so, I like the word systems, and I think as, like, businesswomen, entrepreneurs, that's, like, so important. So, there's nothing that I want to take off my plate because, like you were saying earlier, it's like
Mm,
everything I'm doing, like, I love. There are parts, like the admin that I'm not a huge fan of, but they're necessary. So I think maybe leaning more into systems and batch creating content for social media, like that's really what I have to
mm,
dedicate some time to. So I'm letting go of like the standing hour or 2 hours every day and like thinking about what my content is going to be and
mm,
instead shifting it to a this one day per month is dedicated to scheduled pre-posts. Another thing that I'm letting go of isn't necessarily an agenda item itself, but it's letting go of this idea of perfection. Everything has to look a certain
mm,
way. Everything has to be aesthetic. No, I'm going to let my 70% fly, you know? So some
mhm,
of my things will be 70%, some will be 80, 90, 100. Whatever I post or whatever I do will never be 70, right? And, sometimes like your 70 is someone else's 80 or 90. So
right, right.
that's in and of itself. Okay, yeah, so I think it's just, like, the systems and, the letting go of, like, the mental pressures that I put on myself.
The
I think
mental
this
pressures.
is, yeah, a good time for, like, the audience, the listeners too, to think about, like, what are you letting go of to make space for joy or to make
Mhm.
space for creating joy or discovering it in yourself. I think we all can let go of something or change the way we do
Right,
something. Mhm.
right, and it is like I'm glad we approached it from this angle because for me, like, I can't even think about adding joy
Mhm. Mm.
because there's not currently space, right?
Yeah.
Like, that so I have to start with what is changing about how I am currently doing things and living this life, so that then I can think about adding joy. Then I can think about, like, doing actual fun things that bring me joy and doing the restful things that bring me this, like, big contentment.
Yeah.
Um, One of the things that I thought of as you were talking it that, my husband and I recently implemented is, Hungry Root meal planning. I don't know if they got that in Canada.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's one of your meal plan programs, but I like to describe it as a combination of like a Blue Apron, which is like for chefs,
Yeah.
basically, and a already prepared meals that are being dropped off and you just need to heat it up. It's like just
Mhm.
a couple of steps. They're supposed to be 20-minute meals. They've got vast variety of
Yeah.
food, but what I like is, I have gastric reflux really bad, and so I have to eat differently, and I've been struggling with it, a bunch recently, and so I'm able to pick foods that are healthy, that are fast, and that is something
Mhm.
my entire life. Healthy and fast has never been together.
Mhm.
And so I find that using this, because I can put some stuff together for 20 minutes. I can mix a bowl for 20 minutes, which is what it's essentially asking you to do in a lot of cases. Sometimes you got to cook the meat, sometimes the meat comes cooked, and you're literally mixing meat and sauce and popping in the oven.
Mhm.
Um, but that mental space
Oh,
that is freed up, like, I can't believe that as humans, we have to think about eating 3 times a day.
yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
feeding ourselves and feeding the people around us takes up so much mental space for
Mhm.
me, and so having that assistance, um, is so helpful, and it's not a financial strain for us because it's either that or eating out and spending more money,
Right, right, and
and
I
then
think
feeling guilty about that.
yes, yes, no. Sometimes we look at these services as like luxury or a waste of money or I would never do that. Why do that when I could do my groceries myself? But like just the peace of mind is worth it. Absolutely. There are things that yes are a waste of money, but then other things like this that affect your daily lifestyle and your mental health, it's worth the exchange in my opinion. And I
Yes,
think sometimes would say as women and as Black women too, we look at the easy route and say, "No, that's not for me." Like, we think everything has to be hard, everything has to be a struggle, everything has to be hard work. It doesn't. It doesn't. Like, give yourself the easy route, take the opportunity when it comes just take it, and don't think twice, you know?
yes. And I love seeing so I this came up in a conversation earlier, um, and I brought it back to my mom and her mom, that I did not see them resting, okay? Like, I did not see
Right.
them doing less than 100%. I did not see them finding anything easy,
Mhm.
and, like, taking the easy way. And so, my internalized expectation of myself is to do the same. Like, if both them generations could do it,
Mhm.
because they had it worse than I grew up middle class. My mom grew up poor, my grandma grew up poor. So, like, I got it good. And if they could do it, then I can do it. But it is releasing of that.
Yeah, let go of it. No one else
Yeah,
has
and
that
now,
pressure.
of course, I see my mom resting, and I love it. Like, I see
Yeah.
her being like, "Well, I'm just gonna sit down. I don't know what we're eating." This woman doesn't eat dinner till 9 o'clock because she needs time to just chill out for
Mhm.
a second after she gets home from work.
Mhm. Yeah, I think everything kind of changes and shifts, and we need to think about the shifts that we can make now, even if they're not colossal, that can create some kind of benefit or relief for us in the interim, before we get to where we wanna get. I think, again, that road trip thing, it's like, okay, we have the destination in mind always, like, our GPS is plugged in, we're locked in, we know the way, but, like, are we enjoying the journey? And, like,
Yeah.
that's so important to think about, like, are you enjoying the journey because the just life, like, that is it.
Mm. And so is this what you mean when you say, like, becoming joy? Is this idea of,
Yeah.
like, this is not a destination? This is how we are living day in, day
Mhm.
out to ensure that joy isn't something that we're looking forward to at the end of the year or come spring break or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so for sure. Like, and that external joy is absolutely necessary. It's needed and it's fun, it's interesting, but it just the hard part is when you are constantly looking externally for the joy and you can't pull from within. And I think it's just like, you never go in you ideally don't want to go into a relationship with a partner who has all the money and has all the finances and it can be taken away at any time. I think we
Mm,
need to look at joy being the same thing, right? Or if it's pulled away externally, like you, God forbid, like you lose your job or, you have a season of your life where like you're just overwhelmed and busy all the time. We need to know how to self-sustain and how to create that joy and become it from the inside out. Now, I would be lying if I said that every day is going to be a great experience and every day is going to be joy, but we need somewhere to pull from. And it doesn't have to be big magic tricks, right? It can be just the smallest things. You'd be surprised what stacking some of the smallest things that bring you enjoyment in life can create at the end of the day, right?
yes, that reminds me of birthdays for one. I'm somebody that
Mm.
does, it's a birthday month, and
Yeah.
October is always super joyful because
Are you a Libra?
yes.
Me too.
Ooh, we're so
Yeah.
balanced.
Yeah, so balanced.
But, so October is a great month. It's my favorite
Mhm.
month. It's got pumpkin. I love pumpkin everything, and I get pumpkin everything during October.
Mhm.
Like, it's one of those treat yourself months, and I don't have well, I shouldn't say one of those because I don't have any other treat yourself months.
Yeah.
Like, and so I love this idea of, like, shooting for that, and not necessarily so in October, it is a lot of spending money because a lot of stuff that I want is stuff that I gotta buy, but
Yeah.
how can I make like that frequency of finding little moments of joy, like sipping a pumpkin latte,
Mhm.
or I paint my nails orange, like, and that's I
Mhm.
like I do it myself, so, like, that's free. But, like, how can I keep finding those little moments, and practice that more regularly and expect it like I expect it in October?
Right. I'm taking so many notes. First of all, once we're done recording, I need your tips on shellac manicures DIY at home because I just got a lamp, but I don't know what the heck I'm doing. My nails are bare. They need some life. Okay. Yes, we're Libra sisters, so we're definitely now we have to be friends outside of this. Like it's pretty much
Mhm.
we have to. And then it's funny when you talked about the birthday party because I'm having a birthday party tomorrow for myself with my ordering a cake. I'm putting candles in it.
Gosh,
It's
yeah.
been a rough few weeks and I'm ready for the turn. I'm washing my hair is so disgusting right now. It's just pulled back and like I'm wash as soon as we finish here, I'm deep conditioning my
Oh my
hair. I'm getting for my birthday party tomorrow. Okay? Nobody knows I'm having a birthday party except me and you. Having this party because like I need it, right? I'm gonna get my hair washed. I might like blow it out. I'm just so excited for my party tomorrow.
and the
You know?
candles.
The candles are a must. You have to have candles on cake.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
I love getting myself a birthday cake, like the whole cake. I
Mhm.
don't want a
Yes,
slice of
yes,
cake.
yes. Me too. Don't give me a slice. The whole thing.
The whole
Yes.
thing. Oh, I love that for you. I
Yeah.
love that for you. That sounds wonderful. Should I do
Mhm.
that?
You should do it, and listeners, you should do it too. You should have yourself a birthday party. You could do the balloons and streamers if you want, or you can just keep it simple with a cake or a cupcake if you know boundaries. I
No,
don't know boundaries.
that's not okay. No.
Yeah, but you need a candle and you need a wish. A candle and a wish is what you need.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
I love that. So what kind of cake you getting?
Ooh, I was hoping you'd ask. Alright, I'm getting the Biscoff cake from Costco. Have you tried that before?
No, but I've heard of it.
Oh, it'll change your life. It will change your entire life. The biscuit my mouth is watering just saying it. It's, like, one of the best cakes.
So question, because it's
Mhm.
Costco, right? So everything is big at Costco.
Yeah.
Is this Biscoff cake a Costco-sized cake, or are they making like a mini?
No, it's not a mini. It's not a big old cake. It's a big old cake, but it's easy to eat. Okay, 'cause so the Biscoff cake, it has similar texture to a tres leches. Walk with me here. I promise it's really good.
Oh,
So it's not, like, heavy and super dense. So
yeah,
it's easy to eat. Now, mind you, I do live by myself, so I'll probably handle half of it, like, not all in one day, but I might, like, give a couple slices away
nice.
if I feel
Yeah,
like it. But the
yeah.
Biscoff cake, it's so good. Please, you have to try it.
Ooh, yum. Okay, I do have a Costco membership. No
Mhm.
judgment here. I mean, like I said, I get a whole cake for my birthday, and, like,
Yeah,
usually I'm the only one that likes that cake, and so
it's your cake.
I'm eating cake.
Mhm. I love it. I do love it. Now
So
did
I
you
think
get yeah, sorry, go ahead.
one of the things that I I think would be helpful for me to end on, because you had sent me this, worksheet, a joy worksheet, to
Mhm,
help folks really explore, their relationship with joy, right? And one of the things that I, had not thought about was this notion of, like, blocking joy. Like,
mhm,
what do we notice in our lives, that are, like, joy stealers or joy snatchers, or get in the way
mhm.
of us being able to experience the joy? And so I wonder if you can talk a little bit about, um, that notion and, like, why it's important for us to know this about ourselves.
Yeah, reflection. I'm always gonna say journal. Journal, write in your journal, that's so important, but what's more important is reading it back. Once you read back your journal the next day, things become more clear. So, joy stealers, joy blockers can be anything from people. I'm sure we all have
Mm,
at least one person in our life that we just cannot be that they just can't have a good mood or happiness around them. We wanna get rid of that. Things in your life that you're doing, like I only go to grocery stores with self-checkout because lineups don't create joy for me. I would drive 5 to 10 minutes further, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it doesn't make sense, but just so I can do my self-checkout thing and have a better shopping experience. So we need
mm,
to look at, like, these things that might be consistent or maybe not, that are blocking your joy or not
yeah.
creating an optimal space for joy. Like, it could be as easy as the placement of where your furniture is, and like, do I have to leave my desk to put on a show? Like, why can't I have my desk in my living room? I'm a grown up. I can do what I want, you know?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so it's little,
Mhm.
sometimes it could be little things, sometimes it can be big things. But the longer you let these things sit, the more comfortable you become with these joy blockers, the harder they are to get rid of. And
Mm.
a lot of us might not even know what they are. So
Yeah.
open that journal, baby. Open that journal.
Yeah, yeah. Like, my husband knows himself in that way. He knows what he does not like,
Yeah.
okay? And I
Mhm.
don't feel like I don't feel like I do. But, for
Mhm.
example, driving is a thing for him. He's real persnickety. He does not like taking left-hand turns. And to, like, preserve his sanity, he
Yes.
will not turn left.
Mhm.
So, like, we need to find a route where he can turn right.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like it because he doesn't like having to turn across oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
And so if it's a one-way street, okay, fine, he'll turn left, that's fine.
Mhm.
But, it's the oncoming traffic that brings him anxiety and, like, it's and it does change his mood when he is driving to a new place where he hasn't been before, so he can't plan
Mhm.
for the lefts. Like, he has routes that he likes to take for
Yep.
everywhere. And, that's just one example, but one of the things that I admire about him and other people who are like, "Oh, no, I do not like that,"
Yes.
is that then that gives them the freedom and the opportunity to do the things that they do like or the things that do
Yeah.
work for them.
Mhm.
While the rest of us just over here mumbling, grumbling to ourselves, but not
Exactly.
making any other changes.
Exactly. I love it. That's exactly what I'm talking about, right? There's gonna be times where you might not be able to avoid that left, and guess what? You're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to do it. But if you can avoid it, go for it. Even if it takes 5 or 10 more minutes to get to your
Mhm.
destination, you're gonna get there cool, your armpits aren't gonna stink, like, you're gonna be in a good mood, like, you're gonna be fine.
Yes. Yes. Another one that I'll say, and then we'll end, is,
Mhm.
not so I used to need to get the closest parking spot to wherever I was going, even
Oh,
if
come
that
on.
meant waiting forever and
Yeah.
squeezing into a space that my car don't fit in. Um, my husband suggested that I just keep driving down the aisle or
Mhm.
the lane and, pull into where there's a bunch of empty spots. I started doing that, and when I tell you, I'm so much more content to
Yeah.
just drive a little further and to be able to open my car door all the way.
Exactly.
To not have to worry about dinging somebody else's car. I don't even care about my car. I am stressed about not dinging your
Yeah.
car and getting
Mhm.
cussed out.
Mhm. I love that. It's good implementation, good action. Okay, so we're leaving your audience with some, I guess, actionable items. So,
Yes.
actionable item number 1 is action speaks louder than anything else, and even small action. Small action is better than no action. If there's one little teeny tiny thing that you could do, whether it's changing your toothpaste, getting a different flavor of chips to treat yourself. It doesn't matter. Little, like, start small. I'm always gonna say journal. Journal and reflection means so much. Getting it out is hard. It's one thing. It's so amazing, so great. Make sure you're reading it back. Make sure you look at your journal because you'll be so surprised at what creates clarity when you figure it out, when you see the patterns, and when you read your past self. When you read your past self, it'll set you up on a great path for your future self and present self. The next thing I'm going to push, of course, is my workbook. I will give you a discount code that you can share where
Uh,
people can download it for free. And it's a fillable PDF, so you could print it and write on it if you're that kind of person, or you can just have it on your laptop where you can open it regularly and check in. But I would definitely recommend checking in on your joy as like a monthly, at the very least, a seasonal thing, right? What brings you joy in the winter, your pumpkin spice lattes in the fall, is going to be different than what brings you joy in the summer, which might be the beach. So always look for ways to switch up your formula as it makes sense, and always be agile, get comfortable, but not too comfortable. Set
mm,
reminders in your phone. I think that's another big one that we
mm,
spoke about, especially
mm.
if you're that kind of person. It's that dedication to self. I love the words that you used, and I'm going to steal that because it sounds serious, and it
Yeah,
sounds like we mean, and it's like, it's very important. It's not
yeah.
like, have a cup of tea, Real Housewives. It's not like that. Even if that's what you want to do, fluffy things, that's cool. But
Yep.
dedicate that time to yourself in your calendar the same way you dedicate time to your job, to your appointments, to the people in your life. Dedicate that time for yourself. And then I would say those joy blockers are another great thing to look at for. So in addition to being on the offense, looking for joy and creating joy and being really head fast in that, look for areas that you're like, that might be a blocker, and
Yeah.
get rid of it. Get rid of it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. Where can people find you, Cass?
They can find me at ohsodope.co on Instagram, or my website if social media is not your thing, www.ohsodope.co. I've got a number of blog posts, a number of workbooks, everything from joy and fulfillment to entrepreneurship to career planning if you're in the corporate world. Also resets for your life, and just like a lot of like reflection stuff. I'm not sure if you see a theme here with me. I've got short stories. I write like erotica as well. I've got that on my website.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I also have a podcast, Oh So Dope. You can search that up on Spotify or Apple. And if you're looking for birthday cards, Valentine's cards, get better soon cards, I'm sorry cards, just because cards, I'm your person. I'm your
Awesome.
person. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Impostrix Podcast. I hope that you got what you needed. If you're ready for more, feel free to go through the other 3 seasons worth of amazing episodes that we've put together for you. I want to hear from you. I want to know how you related to this episode. So if you're listening on Spotify, feel free to answer the question or send a text. You can do that through your Spotify app. If you're listening elsewhere, make sure that you follow me on Instagram at impostrixpodcast. And if you like to text, go ahead, go to the show notes, look for the link for the WhatsApp community, because we just got it started this season for season 4, and I love to chat, so hit me up. Also, thank you to Chris at Digital REM for editing this episode. Until next time, be validated.